So here we are in our CloudServers dashboard, and as you can see, I have a few cloud servers already purchased, including my favorite one, the web server that hosts our company's website. Just today, however, my CEO came storming into my office talking about our website being vulnerable, and that we need DR for it right now. And we need DR for it right now. Well, of course, my response was no problem. In our current architecture, when the user wants to access our website, they navigate to the URL of our web server. What I propose is that we deploy a load balancer and add a second server to the mix. The load balancer is then configured to distribute the web traffic over both servers. And now, website traffic can be routed to both servers equally in a round-robin fashion. And thus, we have an architecture where if one server goes down, the second one can pick up the load until the first one is back online. Voila! Instant DR. We're good to go, and my CEO will be happy. Okay, now that we know what to do, let's leverage the power of the Savvisdirect Management Console to implement our plan. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of the second cloud server to denote that it will be part of the load balanced web farm. This is not actually required for the load balancer to work, but it's a good practice. I'm going to go ahead and call it Web Server 2. Now let's access the Load Balancer tab, and here you can see that I have no defined load balancers. So the first step, of course, is to create one in the data center where my web servers are located. Now this is an informational message about provisioning which I need to acknowledge. I'm going to go ahead and click on the refresh button here just to update the screen and check the status of my load balancer. As you can see, it is now provisioning. It'll take a little while to get that going. Now I'm going to go ahead and refresh the screen again. And as you can see, the status is now stopped. This means the load balancer needs some rules. In fact, if I try to start the load balancer, it will actually tell me that I need to put the rules in first, and then I'm going to be able to start the load balancer. A load balancer rule is essentially a definition of servers and the algorithm to distribute the load. So to assign servers an algorithm, let's click on Manage and Modify. So let's first click on Add New Rule. As you can see, the default protocol is HTTP, which is what we need for a website. We're going to set it to port 80. And we're going to use round robin rule. Let's click on our servers, and this is where the naming convention comes in handy. And finally, we're going to add weighting, which shows how many requests go to one server relative to the other. I want the load to be spread equally, so I'm going to set them both to 1. After I click on Save, the load balancer will take a bit of time to deploy. This is a good time to update DNS through my domain name registrar so that my company's URL is directed to the load balancer. When I click on refresh one more time to check on my load balancer's status, I can see that it has started, and thus we're good to go.